Hey there, YouTube, Mr.Lubufu, continuing on with my Magic Origins limited set review. Again, the focus of this is on limited, so draft and sealed, to help you guys rock pre-release weekend. This time we're going to cover all of the blue cards in the set. And we're going to begin with Alhamaret. I can't pronounce that. High Arbiter. It's a 7 mana 5/5, so a little bit expensive, but it has flying. Great. When it enters the battlefield, name target removal spell in their hand. Great. Yeah, it's not actually a removal spell, but basically that's what you're going to name. And then they're going to be a sad panda. Far better in sealed than draft, but definitely a very powerful card. I would definitely play this in basically every sealed deck. Anchor to the Ether. 3 mana. Put target creature on top of its owner's library. Scry one. Completely power. It's all tempo here. It's all tempo. So if you're able to make the most out of it, it could be a very powerful effect. The fact it's not instant isn't the best, but it's still a very powerful effect, and I would play this in most blue decks. You can sort of see blue is all about tempo in this format. Artificers Epiphany. It's a fixed, Thirst for Knowledge, which can be okay. There's a lot of artifacts, but let's say you had an artifact, right? This is an instant speed divination for 3. That's okay. Not absurd, but it's okay. Inspiration cost 4, but you didn't have this downside. But if you can get enough artifacts, this could be a fine draw spell. I don't like Aspirant Aeronaut. It's a 1/2 flyer and gets a 1/1. No, thank you. Not my card. Bone to Ash saw very limited play the first time, and you really shouldn't play too much of it. Calculated Dismissal. It's an okay mana leak, which is an okay effect for limited. You'll be okay. I just said okay a bajillion times, but that's exactly what this card is. It's right in the middle of the pack. Clash of Wills. So Syncopate saw some play in limited, and that's basically what this is. It's okay. Claustrophobia, on the other hand, love this card. I loved it before. I love it now. Oh my goodness, it's my favorite card. AKA it's fantastic blue removal. It's a blue arrest, and it does everything you want. Days Undoing, you probably don't want to play this in limited. This is more a constructed card where you can build your deck around it. But hey, it's fixed Time Twister, so maybe you could do something fun with it. Deep Sea Terror. It's a 6 mana 6/6 that can't attack. Unless you have 7 more cards, but is all I'm gonna say about it. I've never been super impressed with these guys. Disciple of the Ring is very good. So apart from being a 5 mana 3/4, so body isn't the best. Basically, every instant or sorcery in your graveyard is a Spell Pierce. And then of course you got other abilities, cool, but it's Spell Pierce at worst. So your opponent's always like, ugh, really? So great card for limited, and we'll see if it makes constructed splashes. Disperse is one of those cards that I like to have at least one in every single one of my blue decks. It's, again, more tempo, so if you're able to make the most out of it, great. Displacement Wave. The fact it's a sorcery is a little bit rough. More tempo. It's kind of like a fixed upheaval. You can do a lot of interesting things, like play a giant guy, bounce all their little guys, which could be okay. I don't think it's going to be like a bomb rare or even a particularly good rare, but it's playable. Dreadwaters is terrible. Don't play it. Fairy Miscreants is pretty bad. Because your first one is a 1/1 flyer for 1. That's pretty mediocre. And then if you're playing another 1 mana 1/1 flyer for 1, you get to draw a card. Yeah. Next up is Harbinger of the Tides. So it's either a 2 mana 2/2 that bounces a creature, which is fantastic, or it's a 4 mana flash 2/2 that when it comes into play bounces a creature. Either way, very powerful. And it's even better. It's even better in Merfolk in like modern, but very powerful card. Definitely something I'd play in limited. Don't play Hydra Lash. Jaces are probably okay enough. Like, it's a looter. That's good enough, and eventually it can flip, and then you have a planeswalker. So very powerful. I can't say it enough. It's exactly what you want in most decks. Jade Sanctum, no. Justin Thief, very powerful blue uncommon. Not the best, mind you. You'll see that the best is coming up, but Scroll Thief just got that much better. I love Justin Thief a lot. It's one of my favorite cards in the set. Don't play Maritime Guard unless you really need a defensive creature. Mendler is a horn turtle that can, do stuff. I think it's fine. I'd play it in most blue decks as a horn turtle that can eat a removal spell, which is oftentimes good enough. Negate, save it for the sideboard. I don't like Nivix Barrier. Not only does it cost 4, but it doesn't do much after it resolves. Psychic Rebuttal, probably not good enough for limited. I don't think there's a lot of spells that target you in limited. Maybe you'll see some play in the constructed formats. Ring Warden Owl, it's a 5-mana 3/3 flyer with upside. Boom, I'll take it. I think this card is very powerful. You don't want too many in your deck, but definitely it's going to rule the skies. Scrapskin Drake is a fine card. A 2/3 flyer for 3 is completely reasonable, and it blocks the air pretty well. Screeching Scav, you only really want to play if you need the 2-drop. I'm not a huge fan of it in this format, but it's fine. Send to Sleep is not like Sleep, but it is a huge tempo play. You really want it for spell mastery more than anything else. So you just cast during their turn. But if you can get that going, then it's pretty strong. Separatist Void Mage is a 4-mana Mana War. Or 4-mana Ether Adept, because they keep realizing 3 mana is too good. Yep, powerful card. I would play it. It's very tempo heavy. They brought back Patrick, boys! Or the Scryfish, however you want to call it. Also bumped it to uncommon, because again, it was too good. Very powerful. I love picking this up early. Play it often. Scav Goliath is one of those cards that takes a little bit of time to cast it. But if you get it, you get a 6/9 for 6 with trample, and it's very efficient. My favorite flavor thing about it is you had 2 3s. You had 2 3s for you had 2 3s for 2 mana sometimes, and you had to exile cards from your graveyard. So this is what happened when you stuck 3 of them together, because the power and the toughness are 2 3s stuck together, and the mana cost as well. So boom, flavor. Soulblade Djinn, absurd. Just slam it, bomb rare, move on with your life. I don't like Sphinx's tutelage at all. It's too expensive for what it does. Stratus Watch, I didn't like it that much in Theros. It was okay, it was playable, but the fact it can only block creatures with flying is kind of a downside. Talent of the Telepath is it's probably better in Sealed, because in Sealed everyone's playing just the most powerful cards. So it'll be fine in Sealed. Not great, but not bad. Thopter Spy Network is fixed Bitter Blossom, but still really good. If you can get this early, or if you have enough ways to get just one artifact, it'll get out of hand very, very fast. Very powerful card. Build around it if you can, and just crush people with it. Towergeist was great in Innistrad block, and it's great here. 4 mana, 2/2 flying that draws you a card. Boom, done. Turn to Frog. I always love Turn to Frog. I always love this card. So I know I overvalue it, but I love this card so much. It's just a blue removal spell most of the time. Water Coarser is fine. It's a 3 mana, 2/3. It blocks. Not going to be spectacular, but you're going to play in a bunch of blue decks. And this card, boom, Whirler Rogue. Best blue uncommon, arguably the best uncommon in the set. This is as close to Ornithark as you're going to get. If you remember how good Ornithark was in Born of the Gods, this card is basically a 4 mana 2/2 with 2 1/1 flyers. So you get 4 power for 4 mana. You can tap the Thopters right away to make a creature you control unblockable. It's just, oh my god, this card is absurd. This is just, I would boom slam first pick this all day, every day. Unless there's, a better card. But it would have to be a rare, because I think Whirler Rogue's just absurd. And lastly, Willbreaker. 5 mana 2/3 is a little bit expensive, but you know what goes well with it? LaRoque. Boom, play it, gain control of a creature. Alright. Again, you have to be wary of the removal spells. I typically like this sort of effect. I think it's going to be a fine card. It's not going to be bomb rare. Like, if I have to choose between these two, I'd choose LaRoque. But still a very powerful effect, and if you can pull it off, it's excellent. Anyway, that's it. So, TLDR, draft LaRoque. Oh my god, the card is so good. Okay, thank you guys all for watching. Make sure to watch the other parts, and I'll see you guys next time.